That's right.
Let's just see. Not flattering for me. Oh well. To my devices. Are we live? I can't tell.
I think so because it says end
End stream. Okay,
Yes.
this is an experiment, everyone.
Yeah,
We're trying to do this.
we're trying the live thing. We want to be live
How come?
wires.
Look, you look way farther back.
I know it's
That's really weird. Let me see. It's just
And
because
you're
I'm so
only-
propped up with pillows, I guess.
yeah. Here.
So. Like a behemoth next to you. Oh, vanity, vanity. Okay, so we're coming from our living room. I think that's so cute. I thought that would make a cute little background, and so you're getting to see where we actually sit. It's our little love seat that's in our den. Our kitchen is right across from us, and so this is kind of where people sit when I'm making food. So anyway, we have not said hi to you guys in a long time. Hi. We've been
good morning.
We've been busy moving, and
It has been very intense with moving because it's been a lot of years since we were able to bring all our things out of storage together and go through them, and it's been wow.
So
you just don't realize until you start trying to focus it in on one place after a long time.
We started doing the travel nursing thing in 2001. That's how long it's been. 2001.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We lived
in. And we have not settled. This is a temporary house.
Yeah, there's a wayside.
This is still, so we're about to do it again in probably another 6 months to a year. And
I had a lot of contracts in one area.
Yeah.
And so we were in that area for a little while, longer than most traveling people, do. And so, and we never brought everything together there because it was, temporary also. So it was a long-term temporary, but now this is going to be a shorter-term temporary here.
Yeah.
But is
we're
lovely.
hoping we're going to actually stay in the area now. We're hopefully, even though we're going to have to move because we're renting this place, but hopefully we're going to buy a place soon and settle down. So anyway, that we just want to explain what we've been doing, but there's been more. Do you want to?
Oh, you can start. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I was in a car accident in 1997, a millennia ago.
I know that's very strange to even hear myself.
In 1997, I was in a really bad accident. So I've been I've been uncomfortable, at least uncomfortable since 1997. And it's very rare that I'm not.
Wait, she's being very generous, uncomfortable. Okay. There are those people out there, and she's one of them, who are in chronic pain, but are constantly happy and cheerful and joyful. That's her. And
but I don't want to exaggerate. I'm not in pain. I mean, I'm in pain a lot.
There's always a low level pain that she's gotten used to.
Yeah, right.
And so she's kind of pushed. If you had a 0 to 10 scale, she's pushed her scale down, which most people would rate it higher. Higher.
Okay, well, maybe true. That's true because once you get used to pain, you can tolerate a lot more. So anyway,
but you've been a joy and cheerful, and those people out there in chronic pain, it's a heroic thing they do to come out. You get the ones that are grumpy and angry, and she's just not. She's never grumpy and angry. She's always lifting everybody up around her, and it just is exhausting. Is it not exhausting?
Okay, now tell them why.
Well,
he has just come.
The reason I'm such an expert at her is because, one, we've been married and been together since '79. is that
I need a facelift by now.
it's almost like the devil was like, "Oh, you think one back pain's gonna be bad? Let me give you a little something." And I to this very second don't know where this came from. I only assume it's from moving. I had a patient that was
Large.
that was thin, challenged. They were larger,
Yeah.
and we're used to that. But I had to be in a weird position to move this patient, and I didn't really feel it. I felt something, but it didn't hurt. And then over the next several days, it started to get worse and worse and worse to the point of sciatica now, which I've never had. And it is getting better, but it is very weird. What it's done for me that I praise the Lord for, I really do. I praise the Lord for this, is it's given me insight into people who have chronic pain, and I can take it to my patients now.
Yeah.
Of for them to be it there's you reach a level of pain, physical pain and mental, but I mean the physical pain to where you can't think straight.
Yeah.
You have
wears
to
out.
really struggle and work
Mhm.
hard at
Mhm.
thinking straight. That's just to think straight.
Yeah.
Then to be cheerful and be helping those around you and lifting them up is another intense. So you use all your energy, in fact, probably more than energy than you actually have, in being good to people and being happy and cheerful and still have that pain at the end of the day. Maybe worse than it was at the beginning of the day.
An instant knowledge of what it's going to be like when we're married in our 90s together. I've been on a cane. This is the first time I've ever been on a cane. I've been on a cane for about a month now. Just yeah. Oh, now, honey, can you go get me the Advil?
Since we're on YouTube and you have a cane, does that make you Tubal Cane? YouTubal Cane?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all the things, and I have to have this brace for the sciatica in my leg. Yesterday, I thought, oh, I won't put it on. And I did yard
Mistake.
work and did all
Mistake.
kinds of stuff yesterday. And I feel great. When I'm on my feet, it's kind of weird. When I'm on my feet, I don't even really feel it. But around 5 or 6 o'clock, it's like a pressure. And it gets worse and worse until about 1 o'clock in the morning last night. It was just
So
it's nothing.
cards.
Like I said, it's nothing compared to what my lovely wife has to go through. And it just anybody around you who has that kind of pain, you need to really give them courage because it takes a lot out of them, you know. So that's the kind of ironic and funny pain story.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Well, we don't want to bore them with all our maladies. That was one thing when I go ahead.
Yeah, so about our move. So we moved from one place that we had been for a while. I had many contracts in that area. And we moved away from there to where we are now. And just getting everything together it's still not finished. We've been here for what, 3 months, or I don't know how long we've been here, but not very long, just a few months.
Mhm.
And we're still not totally together. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But it's a time eater. It eats you up when you do things like that. So it's funny, years ago they came out with the top 10 list of things that stress or high stress. And it's like we live in the top 5.
That's right.
that's not
when
normally
you're a travel nurse. Your whole life is well, we have no idea when we're going to be in 3 months. We just never know.
13 weeks.
Yeah. So his contracts are for 13 weeks.
Yeah.
So we have been. What is that a song? I can't remember his name. I've been everywhere, man. I've seen something. That's what I kind of feel. And I know lots of people are travelers, travel around. So we're not. We're just saying we understand if you travel a lot. We have a lot of sympathy. So anyway, what were we going to just gab about? Now, the only thing I was going to tell him about was we're going to get back into now. He's not going to be in as much, and I told you this before. He's not going to be here as much. This is so cool to have him here with me this morning.
Yeah, I'm
But
so excited. I miss it, and I really, really want to do it more. And so,
but you are, but
you'll see her a lot, maybe by herself. But I am still here, and I'm going to continue.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, it's
But-
wonderful.
Yeah, but I do know, you know, you're overstressed, honey. You got so
Yeah, we're in
much
the top
going.
5. Remember?
That's right.
Let's see. There's no divorce in there, so that's one of the.
Oh,
things.
well, no.
But the moving, what is it? Moving, changing jobs, and
I don't
something-
remember. It was a long
yeah,
time ago. I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. It's funny.
But it is, you know, I'm in an area now where we've just got lots and lots of babies that
Oh yeah.
that we can help take care of. And so when it comes to YouTube, be with my grandbabies, YouTube, the grandbabies went out. So
Yeah.
and anyway, but okay, we have been talking to Adventists about Catholicism a lot. And that's been kind of the reason for this YouTube is to explain to Adventists. Okay, we've been Catholic since 2008. We studied it very carefully beforehand because I make decisions very slowly. I'm very careful, and so we were prepared to be Catholics 5 years before this. But we're just like, well, let's just take it slow. Let's not get into something that we'll have to get back out of, because I don't like, you know, I don't like jumping from thing to thing. We already have it with our moving. I don't want any other thing in our life we have to jump around. So but we have been Catholic now long enough to be able to say we know what being Catholic is. You know what I mean? I mean, you can never really know. It's like an ocean of information. But we do understand it now. And when we talk about Catholicism to Adventists, you've got to trust us. We are not trying to deceive you. We're not trying to romanticize.
No, we came from that.
Catholicism.
And I'm telling you, that was a big deal. They really pushed on that about the deception.
Yeah.
And no, there's no deception here. There's no deception with us at all.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I got to go back and finish what I was saying.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll get back on this. But Titus 2:4, I'm doing for children and for mothers. I see this all the time on X, you know, where women have children and they don't have a mother that's nearby, or a mother, their parents worked and both of them worked, and they just need information about how to be a good mother. And there's a lot of stuff you can get on Google about, like new formulas and lots of things about the practicalities of how you can hold your baby so that it has less gas or stuff like that. But I feel like there needs to be an overarching, before we get into all the details, or I will never get into all the details, but you need an overarching, thoughtful idea of how you want to raise your children so they will stay with the Lord. And that's what this Titus 2:4 is this new episodes we're doing. And we already have some on there, but that's kind of what I want to start having a lot of focus on, because that's everything about Catholicism and Adventism has been out of just love for Adventists. It's not something I particularly am excited about talking about, but I am particularly excited. I love babies. I love children. I love raising children. I wanted to have 8. I love the chaos. I love everything that goes on with children. And I feel like I've got a lot of insight to help the mothers that don't have a lot of help. As far as, you know, I can't take care of your child. That's really what you need, is somebody to come and watch your child that you trust, you know, while you can go have your hair done or just take a nap. But anyway,
right.
So the Titus 2:4 episode is for those. So please, you know, let people know that may just, and then if you want to ask a question, it's not like I'm not this, you know, I could just give you my advice that's from personal experience and from watching others about raising children. And so if you want to ask any questions, I will, even if I'll ask one and see if I can get a good answer for you.
There's a lot of people out there that are 21 and a half.
Mhm.
We had, in our recent past couple years, people that we have run into that would, they wanted to be able to direct people in their lives. And but there's no history there. There's no wisdom there. There's some book learning, and so they were counting on some psychologist or something to give them like Google answers to children and how to raise your children, and they were going to then go out and consult, they give consultation to people way older than them with experience, and it's just backwards nowadays.
Yeah, that's kind of true. It really
And
is.
so Titus, this Titus 2:4 is important because not only do we have experience at our age, we do have experience. Everybody has experience, but not everybody wants to come on it and talk about it. But we have some invaluable experience that makes it worth telling people about, especially about children and from micro children, little baby children to all the way grown up to adult children.
I'm gonna have to readjust. I'm uncomfortable, like I like I was telling you.
Yeah.
I'm always uncomfortable, but
You just need to adjust.
I know I need to adjust. So but let's.
So
let's
anyway,
not-
Titus 2:4. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was our commercial for Titus 2:4. We're still going to be doing the reasons together and all that kind of stuff too. But anyway, okay. So go back to what we're talking about, Catholicism. So we have been now. How many years? I don't know. Somebody do the math. It's about family, and that explains the Catholic worldview. And it's really interesting because a lot of former Adventists can really tell a tale that's very correct about Adventism, because it's the people that know Adventism the best that when they leave, they can explain some of the more heterodox.
Yeah, and I on that point, I will say this about leaving. Okay, what I get, the understanding I get, because I'm dealing with a good friend of mine now up in Idaho, who is going to become Catholic out of Adventism as well. Adventists make the mistake of thinking because you left Adventism, therefore you know nothing about Adventism. That's just not true.
Well, we were in our 40s
Yeah.
when we were we in our 40s? I think I wasn't quite 40. But anyway, I think it was 39 when we actually left. But it was a long process of leaving for us. It was not.
Yeah, I was a multi-generation Adventist, and
Yeah.
she was a multi-generation Adventist.
And so
Yeah, and so
I'm gonna
the things we're talking about, we know what we're talking about.
right. And so we can tell you for sure that there's a misunderstanding that the Catholics that leave and become Adventists and when they tell us what they know, and we see this all over YouTube, and debates and stuff. When people talk about Catholicism, and especially those that have left, it's just weird because it's not what we've seen for and we're not trying to romanticize it, because when we came in, it was during the horrible pedophile scandal, and so it was a bad time to come in.
John Jay report. And all that.
Yes, and so we really studied it before we got into this, because it looks a mess from the outside, but
We literally came into Catholicism at one of the worst times you could possibly come in, with the exception, not worst times to come in, but hardest times to come into Catholicism.
It's because you're walking into like Chronicles, where when you're walking into Israel.
In the Bible, we just got through reading Chronicles.
and
Wow.
these horrible
Yeah.
leaders. Then it's still God's people.
Right.
But our experience inside Catholicism has been absolutely fabulous.
Yes. Yeah, it's been
We
amazing.
it it's been like, okay, just one of the things is we see Catholicism sees itself as the kingdom of heaven. And so uh, it is very much like that. When you walk in, you constantly get glimpses. The Holy Spirit gives you these amazing glimpses of heaven, and things just start coming together. You know,
Things that didn't make sense before.
mhm.
If you will look at them starting with logic, just it's
Mhm.
logic and move on from there. Things when we became Catholic became so much more logical. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah, and you have to see it through a
yeah,
certain worldview.
that's right.
You cannot see it through Protestant uh, premises. They just won't work. But okay, okay, I know people, since we're Catholic, they're very interested in some people, obviously, not all
Right,
people.
right.
I tend to generalize. I tend to generalize. But some people are like, what do you think about Leo, Pope Leo?
Pope Leo, right?
What do you think?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah, I'm yeah, just you can start that.
After having Pope Francis in there, God rest his soul, um, I think a lot of Catholics are trusting with trepidation right now. They're worried, and so far, Pope Leo has not been. I don't want to say bad. That's not um, contentious. Maybe
Mhm.
he seemingly
He
has
was
not been contentious of the Orthodox main body of Catholicism. He hasn't. Here's another good way to put it. He hasn't done anything to alienate, because there have been popes in history that are so radical that they alienate a great, huge body of Catholics to where they just kind of like, okay, all right, we'll
well,
we'll sit and watch.
Pope Francis seemed to enjoy being provocative.
Provocative, yes,
Like
provocative.
when he started out, he said things like, "Okay, kids, go out and make a mess." Well, but then he didn't explain what that meant. Uh,
Leaving to children what they think a mess is, and just
yeah,
leaving it at that.
yeah, and he tended to be very provocative when it came to politics,
Yeah,
and
he always left things dangling,
yeah,
where you never really knew where he was coming down, and so it felt at times like he was going against a more moral
yeah,
basis of Catholicism.
yeah.
And I'm not saying he did. What I'm saying is he left us dangling enough. It really made you worry about
Okay, I'm going to say something very provocative right now. But okay, Trump and Pope Francis reminded me of each other. There was a little bit of troll, okay, this is when I say troll, I'm not talking about what we used to talk about when we were kids, not the troll underneath the bridge that scares people going over the bridge. There's a word out there that the young people use because when you troll somebody online, and Trump is very, very good at that.
that.
And
Yeah,
I felt
he's a master troll.
Pope Francis was just a tiny bit of a troll, and we loved him, but he's, like I said, provocative and kind of stuff. So anyway, but now we've got Pope Leo, and and we just don't know what to expect from. But so far,
So yeah, your question was to me. What do I think about it?
yeah,
So far, he seems like a good man.
yes, he does. He seems like he's just ready. Okay, maybe it's time now for everybody
Mhm.
to get to feel loved. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out. You never know about the future, but that's the way we're feeling right now. is I think he's going to be a great pope. I hope so. We'll pray for him. And that's another thing is, as an Adventist, we never prayed for the pope. Why didn't we?
Well,
Why
as
didn't we pray
as
for
a
the pope?
Seventh-day Adventist, you don't pray for a lot of things. I remember in our particular church, which was a very large church for Seventh-day Adventism,
Uh-huh.
is my wife started a prayer warriors where it was as simple as praying for the pastor
Mhm.
as the pastor was preaching, and to lift him up and ask the Lord to be with him and be with what he spoke. Ask me how many people would even, I think one person might show up. What's the
How
most?
many, Arthur? You said ask you.
Maybe one person would show up.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was actually looked upon as divisive.
It was the
It was the
weirdest thing.
weirdest thing. It's and I've run into that in Seventh